Hello, so Tanya was telling me that there are 3 different types of home inspections, which I didn't know. So I'm gonna make her go over all 3 types for us and explain when you might do each one.
Okay, so the first type of home inspection is going to be your traditional type of home inspection, which happens after you go under contract, after you reach mutual acceptance with the seller.
So why would you do that one?
That is the way that people have traditionally done it. I don't think it's the most ideal way of going about it anymore. It used to be the common theory that the seller doesn't want to know anything that's wrong with their home because if they know, they're gonna have to disclose it. And so generally the old school type of thinking was that if you don't know, you can't say. Let them figure it out on their own.
Okay, so you're doing that one once you're already under contract.
That's once you're already under contract, right?
Okay. And how fast do they normally get scheduled? Because once you're under contract, you're under a timeline.
Exactly, great question. So most home inspections can be scheduled within 2 to 3 days. So there's a plethora of home inspectors out there. Most agents know 2 or 3 that they really respect and can get on the phone and get an appointment with fairly quickly. So ask your realtor for their recommendations if you don't know of one yourself.
Okay, and who's paying for that?
Here's the next question, right? So it depends on the type of inspection that's going to be done. So in your traditional type of real estate, where it's done post mutual acceptance, once you're under contract, it's going to be the buyer's obligation to pay for that home inspection. And those home inspections are generally going to cost somewhere between $450 to $600, depending on the size of the home.
Okay, so that's your normal, traditional, run-of-the-mill home inspection.
Correct.
Now there's 2 other types.
Correct.
So what is the next most common?
The next, well, they're both kind of equally common.
Okay.
We'll go with the pre-inspection. This is not my favorite. This is probably my least favorite type of home inspection because in my opinion, it's not really fair to the buyers. This is when listing agents and sellers say, okay, buyers, if you want to do an inspection on this home, you go ahead and do an inspection on this home. You just do it before you put an offer in. And because our real estate market has been so crazy, we've had such a limited number of days to get that done. So a home comes on the market on Thursday. You have to have your offers in on Tuesday. There's 4 or 5 days there, and they need to get that you need to get that home inspection done prior to that so you can put your offer together and get it submitted by the offer review date.
Is it the same cost? Like, that seems like it's really rushed.
Well, some inspectors will do a discounted cost for a pre-inspection because you're not getting a written report. You're just going to kind of get the verbal overview from the inspector because it's pretty quick. And generally in a hot market, you're not able to really negotiate a lot of the home inspection items anyway. Okay. So you really don't need any backup for it. However, another reason that I do not like these is because now you have potentially multiple buyers who are doing inspections on a home that they may have no opportunity to even get into contract with.
Oh my goodness.
So you've got lots of people spending money for inspections on homes that they're not going to get.
Can you like share them?
No, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh,
not.
come on.
The challenge is coordinating all the different agents, right?
Yeah, so now you have like 15 inspectors running around to put in an offer and you're spending money.
Well, and the worst part is that it's hard on the home. You know, you can have 15 different inspectors, and especially when you've got the limited time frame, right? And they're all running around inspecting the house at the same time, bumping into each other. They're all running the dishwasher.
Hey, did you notice this? Hey, did you do this?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
You know, and you've got 15 different people on the roof and down in your crawl space. And it's a mess, and it's really hard on the house. It's not one of my favorite It's not my favorite things. So I will never do that.
The listing agent, and you think you would are about to have a hot home.
Yeah, have your sellers do what is called a pre-listing inspection. And in my humble opinion, this is the best way to go for all parties involved.
Yeah.
Number 1, the seller is going to have the home inspected by a home inspector that they hire prior to even putting the home on the market. Okay. This gives the seller the opportunity to review that list that the inspector comes back with, because a lot of times they don't even know what's going on in their crawl space. When was the last time you crawled down into your crawl
No,
space?
I tried to avoid that.
Me too. And so they get a whole report and they can decide what items they're going to take care of prior to putting the home on the market, and what items they're just simply not going to take care of.
So then as a buyer, would I get access to that?
Absolutely. That's the beautiful part of this.
Okay.
So what I do a lot of times with my sellers is I have them do this inspection, and then we make notes as to the items that have been corrected by the seller. We'll include the receipts from the contractors that have made those corrections, so we have proof that it's done. And then we provide all of that information to all of the buyers so they can review that information prior to putting their offer in.
So then I assume that the seller's the one paying for that one?
Seller is paying for that one.
I mean, I like that as a buyer's side.
It's much more equitable. If you think about it, instead of having 5 or in earlier case 15 different buyers paying for home inspections, there's one home inspection that's being paid for. And the reality is it's as beneficial to the sellers as it is to the buyers.
So I don't have 15 people that might fall off my roof.
Well, there's that. and plus the buyers can now see the report. Everybody's working from the same page. It's full transparency, full disclosure. Everybody's working from the same document. And it moves the process along much quicker than having to go in post-contract, right? Because in your traditional real estate, the first example we talked about, you negotiate the terms, you negotiate the price, and then you have the second contingency, which, depending on the market, you may have to renegotiate again. And a lot of times deals fall out during that portion of the
that makes sense.
negotiation. And
so how much does one of those cost?
Same amount, so about $550 to $600.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, personally, on as a seller's side, I feel like the peace of mind is worth it on that alone, just to know that it's not going to fall out later.
Exactly. Well, and there have been times when, sellers don't do their own inspection, and then a buyer comes through and does an inspection, and then the seller gets offended because they feel like they're being told that their house is not up to par, right?
Yeah, there's always a lot of emotions.
So it's much better just to be informed.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Well, I think this has been very helpful, and I think we've hit all of our points.
I think so too.
Yay! If you have any questions, ask them.